This Titan solar melee build chains damage at stupid range, lets you run at 100 miles per hour, lets you just sit there watching ads kill themselves and more. Now I've made and seen all kinds of crazy builds in my time, but this was actually really fun. So people, I'm Divide, drop a rating, comment and subscribe, and now let's chain some kills. Now let's get straight into this build by firstly showing what the build is and how it works. So this is your Titan Dunemarchers build that's primarily focused on chaining melee damage using solar hammers. So yeah, don't ask how. But anyway, this build does work with all types of melees, and your best two options are the bottom tree striker and the middle tree solar. But today we're using a middle tree solar, so putting this simple, in our usual build testing lost sector here, run into some ads, get 4 shotgun kills to become charge of light 4 times, sprint and attack enemies with your melee, whether that's a charged hammer or not, and just chain damage. On top of that, you'll chain more arc damage with your charge of light mod, and overall this build is just insane for ad clearing in minor activities and is in general just a really fun build to use. So let's dive into the setup. And as usual with the loadout, today we're going with a shotgun so you can become charge of light, but you can use anything. An SMG or shotgun would be your preferred choice here, as we are a melee build. But moving into the subclass, we are a solar middle tree, Burning Maul, also known as Code of the Devastator, with its melee throwing hammer, where you can basically throw a hammer. Yep, you guessed it right. Then we have Roaring Flames, where kills with your solar abilities increase their damage, so you can pretty much throw high DPS hammers. And paired with our exotic, it's going to send out a wave of chain damage that just destroys everything around it once you kill that enemy. But this also comes with a subclass perk where picking up a thrown hammer will trigger health regeneration, so unlimited health too. Man, this just makes these hammers so good. But armor time. For the helmet, our first mod is Powerful Friends just for that plus 20 mobility. As usual, if you got max mobility, then you don't really need this. But then we have double hands on for bonus super energy on melee kills, as we'll be using our melee quite a lot. Supercharge for 2 additional stacks of charge of light for our gauntlets mod. Definitely a good option here, and you'll see why shortly. But for the chest, we have Reactive Pulse. First time I've used this, believe it or not, but it flows pretty nicely with this build, so that is what we're going to be using to send out more arc damage around us when charged with light. Then we have a few damage resistant mods which you can pick to suit your preference. As for the legs, we're using a Titan Exotic Dunemarchers, which increases sprint speed, and sprint and builds up a static charge, which then chains damage to nearby enemies after using a melee attack. And it doesn't have to be a charged ability attack either. Oh, and you don't have to continuously sprint, so this exotic is kinda OP. But we will be using quick charge to become charge of light with our shotguns. And again, you can change this to suit your preference. But finally for the class, we have stacks on stacks. And I don't think I've used this one before either in my previous build videos, but this will give us 2 stacks every 2 shotgun kills. Now the other mods don't really matter, so you can use what you want, but we are a build focused on chaining melee damage. Now for the stats, I'd go for max mobility so you can just be as fast as possible, and it honestly really does feel fast having this exotic and 100 mobility. I'm actually quite impressed with the difference. So overall this build is definitely a fun and different one to use and play around with. Definitely doesn't beat the Thunder Crash build, but I think it comes close to beating the Titan's Arc melee build, probably. I like both. What do you guys think? Anyway, I'll leave a link in the description and comments if you want to check out my other crazy builds. But that is all for this quick build video. For now, give this one a try and let me know what you think. Drop a comment on what build you want to see next. Leave a rating, subscribe and share, and I'll see you all in the next one this weekend.